What is up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog Fantasy Pick'em plays for Friday, October 11th, 2024. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog. That's DAILYDOG, one word, at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app for a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000. If you haven't done that yet, what are you waiting for? Getting 50% extra money to play with on the app is a huge benefit. Take advantage of it if you have not done so yet. All right. It's a Friday. As we've been doing every Friday, we've been giving out 5+ slips every Friday to cover you for the whole weekend in your Underdog Pick'em entries. So we're going to start out with today. Today we're going to do a college football slip. We're going to go Malik Williams, the quarterback for the UNLV Rebels, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. The dude has been on fire since he's got the starting nod after that that Matthew Sluka drama happened, and he transferred out of the program. The players were saying that Williams was better anyway. He's proven to be much better anyway as far as offensive output for this UNLV team goes. Williams is great through the air, great on the ground, so he is a touchdown scoring machine. Higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns, looks great. And I'm going to stack him with Ricky White, his star wide receiver, Ricky White III, higher than 93.5 receiving yards. Simply put, Utah State's defense is just very, very bad. UNLV had a very embarrassing loss against Syracuse last week. They had every opportunity in the world to win that game, and somehow they ended up blowing it, and they lost in overtime. I think they're going to run up the score a little bit. I think Malik Williams and Ricky White are both going to have big games here. So higher than 93.5 receiving yards for Ricky White. Hopefully he gets 6, 7, 8 catches here, and then this number is going to be no problem at all. Next, we're going to go to Dorian Singer, wide receiver for Utah, higher than 56.5 receiving yards. I don't know if you've got the news yet, but Cam Rising is starting this game for the Utah Utes. With Cam Rising in the starting lineup, this team is so much better through the air, so much better offensively just in general. But the advantage they get with the passing game, and also Dorian Singer was putting up big numbers with Isaac Wilson at quarterback, and Isaac Wilson is not very good. Cam Rising, 7th-year senior, he has had big days or big games under the bright lights plenty of times before. I think he's going to have no trouble destroying this Arizona defense, and I think Dorian Singer is going to benefit with that, having 56.5 plus receiving yards here. I think he could honestly go for 7,500 in this game. So that is the Friday college football slip. Malik Williams higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns, Ricky White higher than 93.5 receiving yards, and Dorian Singer higher than 56.5 receiving yards. That's for 4.86x multiplier, 4.86x your money. All right, we have to have a baseball slip on this elimination game for the Dodgers against the Padres. 3 legs. We're going to go with Mookie Betts higher than 7.5 fantasy points. I don't know if you noticed, but Mookie's been crushing the ball. Home run in the first inning in back-to-back games. He could have a home run in the first inning in 3 games straight, but Jurickson Profar stole one from him 3 games ago. So I still expect Mookie to be big in this spot, though. He's been just so good in the last several games. He can steal bases as well, which is obviously huge for when you're playing fantasy points because you get so many fantasy points for stolen bases, and obviously a home run you get there in one swing. Next one, Tommy Edman, higher than 6 fantasy points. Tommy Edman is an unsung hero of this Dodgers team. He's another guy that can steal bases and put up points. He doesn't really have much power, but he can get it over the fence. But he's also an extra base hits machine. Doubles, he can steal, obviously score runs, obviously he can get RBIs. He bats towards the back of the lineup for the Dodgers, which is great for stacking fantasy points because he can get on, and then you got Shohei, Mookie, and potentially Freddie Freeman coming on up after him. Those guys can drive in runs, and Tommy Edman can really run, so that helps a ton. So first 2 legs, Mookie Betts higher than 7.5 fantasy points, Tommy Edman higher than 6 fantasy points. Last one, Jurickson Profar from the Padres, higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Profar is the guy who is, kind of on bad teams for the last several years. He's loving this opportunity to be with the Padres. I don't think that he's going to waste this chance in this elimination game, and I think that he's going to try to put up numbers here. So 2 hits, a hit and an RBI, a hit and a run. Just get 2 hits, runs, or RBIs in this game, Profar. This is a 5.15x multiplier. Mookie Betts higher than 7.5 fantasy points. Tommy Edman higher than 6 fantasy points. And Jurickson Profar higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. All right, we're going Saturday college football here. Saturday college football slip. We're going Eli Holstein, the Pitt quarterback, higher than 2.0 passing touchdowns. Gunslinger is going to sling the ball. Eli Holstein is awesome. If you haven't watched him yet, he's not necessarily like a high-level NFL prospect, at least not at this point, but he can really throw the ball. He is a guy that is not afraid to take shots, and he's got the wide receiving core to take advantage of that. 3+ passing touchdowns in this game, no problem. We just need 2. If we get to 2, we're pushing. He's going to be at 2 in the first half. I'm 90% sure that Pitt is going to be just fine here, and I think Holstein's going to continue his gunslinging ways, and he's going to have 3 or more passing touchdowns in this game. But for slip purposes, it's higher than 2.0 passing touchdowns. All right, next we're going to go to Emeka Egbuka, star wide receiver for the Ohio State Buckeyes, although Jeremiah Smith, his freshman compatriot, has kind of taken the limelight a little bit in the last couple of days. But this is a big game against Oregon. Emeka Egbuka is going to be scoring a touchdown in this one, higher than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns for Egbuka. He's still wide receiver 1. I know Jeremiah Smith still has the highlights out there, but give me Egbuka to score a touchdown. You're getting an increased multiplier with the wide receiver 1 on an Ohio State team that I think is going to handle Oregon on the road on Saturday. Last one, Oronde Gadsden, the tight end / slot combo guy for Syracuse. You know I love him. I'm always taking slips with him. I have him on my season-long slip in Underdog. Higher than 56.5 receiving yards for Oronde Gadsden and of this Syracuse team. Again, he is just a big-time playmaker, 56.5 receiving yards. At NC State conference game, they're going to have to use Gadsden. Give him 5 catches, and he's over this, no problem. He can get 7 catches, he can get 10 catches, whatever. He can honestly do this in 1 catch. He is that type of athlete, but again, I think the volume is going to be there, and he's going to get higher than 56.5 receiving yards. These 3 plays, 6.42x multiplier, so a little bit of bonus juice there because Emeka Egbuka is the bonus multiplier on this slip. All right, let's get a UFC slip out there for Saturday as well. Nico Price, higher than 27.5 significant strikes in this fight. Simply put, Nico Price, he's a guy that can get knocked out and he can get knockouts, but Dembo Garimbo is actually more of a controlled fighter, his opponent in this one. I think that this fight goes long. It goes to the 3rd round. If it's in 3rd round, Nico Price is landing significant strikes. I just don't think Dembo Garimbo's wrestling is going to be that much. Honestly, I think Nico Price is live in this fight overall, but definitely over 27.5 or higher than 27.5 significant strikes landed in this one. He is just too much of a veteran, and he's going to be in this fight deep into the 2nd round, into the 3rd round. And if I'm correct in that, there's no way he's not landing 30+ significant strikes. The guy has a record of being in some crazy brawls where he eats a ton and lands a ton. If that happens, we are golden with this first pick on this slip. Next one, we're going to Abdul Razak Al-Hassan, higher than 0.5 knockouts against Josh Fremd. Josh Fremd has some trouble with some kickboxers. He has problems with guys with power. Josh Fremd just really isn't that good. He's got, a good heart. He tries hard and all that stuff, but he's not really talented. He's a guy that came to MMA a little bit later. I think he was a football player or something before he got into the sport. Guys like Abdul Razak Al-Hassan, who have a really high-level kickboxing pedigree and straight-up knockout power, have had no trouble finding a way to get past Josh Fremd. I think Al-Hassan gets back to his winning ways, gets back to the highlight KOs, and I think he knocks out Josh Fremd here. All right, let's get to the main event. Brandon Royval against Tetsuro Taira. The pick is Tetsuro Taira, fight time lower than 20 minutes, or lower than 19 minutes is actually what it is at the time of this recording. So that means that this fight just needs to be done 4 minutes into the 4th round. I don't know if you've seen Brandon Royval fight, but he is not one to wait around. Neither is Tetsuro Taira. These guys are going to be going for a finish, and this isn't a situation where, okay, one of these guys is the dominant grappler, so the other one's just going to kind of bide his time and wait it out and lose the decision. No, from the bottom, these guys are both going to be taking risks. There's going to be finishing potential literally from minute 1, second 1 of this fight, and as long as these guys are still in the cage, somebody's going to be going for the finish. Royval actually has underrated striking power, and also Tetsuro Taira's striking has improved immensely in his last several fights, and then on the ground, arms, legs, necks, everything is in play for these guys. So this UFC slip is a 6x, just straight up flat multiplier. Nico Price higher than 27.5 significant strikes. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan higher than half a knockout. And Tetsuro Taira lower than 19-minute fight time. All right, last one. We are on to Sunday NFL. CJ Stroud higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against the pretty good defense for the Patriots, but again, they're pretty good, but I just think Stroud can still do it. I know Nico Collins is banged up. He's got enough weapons. CJ Stroud, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns here. I also got to put in mandatory Montgomery. Obviously, David Montgomery for the Lions. scores touchdowns virtually every game. Mandatory Montgomery is a shout out to Brad Evans. If you know him from the old BetMGM Live on the Line show. Brad Evans gave him that nickname. So shout out to Brad for giving me the Mandatory Montgomery juice. All right, last one, Jamar Chase scoring a touchdown in this game. I think that obviously Jamar Chase he started a little slow in the first couple of weeks of the season. He is in full stride right now. The Giants aren't that good. The Burrow and the Bengals are going to try to run up the score if they can. That means going deep to Jamar Chase. So give me Jamar Chase touchdown. This 3-leg NFL slip for Sunday. CJ Stroud higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Mandatory Montgomery touchdown. And Jamar Chase higher than half of a touchdown. 6.11x multiplier. Last thing, I just want to shout out how our slips did over this week. We put in 3 Thursday Night Football slips, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. Our slip from Wednesday did come home. It was our slip from, which day was that? It was our slip from Tuesday, our first one we put in. Deebo Samuel higher than half a rushing and receiving touchdown, Kenneth Walker touchdown, and Jackson Smith and Jigba higher than 49.5 receiving yards, 6.84x. If you took it a day later, you got 7.25x. But either way, we got one home. So profitable Thursday Night Football. Let's go and let's have a profitable weekend. 5 slips for us to make money right here. So let's do it. Use promo code DailyDog at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app, and let's make some money.